Hello, my name is Will Chu, an independent editor and journalist with extensive experience in content creation for the pharmaceutical, biotechnology, and nutrition sectors. I'm delighted to have been invited to host this webinar, and indeed, thank you all for joining me for today's webinar on ashwagandha, sponsored by Arjuna Natural. Now, as consumers shift towards more natural solutions to help them decode holistic health and wellness, ashwagandha has swiftly become one of the most sought-after botanicals on the market today. But amid such high demand for this much-renowned adaptogen, how can formulators ensure the quality, potency, and efficacy of their selected ashwagandha extract? In this webinar, we'll be exploring the operations, activities, and ethos of Arjuna Natural, an established leader in the botanical space, with a specific focus on one of its flagship products, Shoden ashwagandha. So first, let me tell you a little bit more about the business. Now, Arjuna Natural was born nearly 4 decades ago out of partnership of businessman Mr. P.J. Kundachan and his brother-in-law, Dr. Benny Anthony, an accomplished chemist working in the extraction industry. Now, both individuals firmly believed in the power of nature and recognized the role of herbs in providing a healthy life. This combination of business acumen with specialist knowledge served to create a powerful formula that has helped to advance the world of natural extracts. In 2018, Arjuna launched Shoden. What it says is the world's first true high-potency ashwagandha. And since then, more than 350 million doses of the extract have been sold across the globe. Now, in this webinar, we'll be delving into how high-potency Shoden ashwagandha was developed and the unerring focus on testing, transparency, and operational excellence that are crucial in this extract's production. Also, we'll be concentrating on the efficacy and clinical trials that engender trust from formulators and consumers alike across the world today. But let me first tell you about our agenda today. We have 3 fantastic speakers for you, emanating from 3 different continents. First up, we have Dr. Dilip Ghosh, a renowned expert in the ashwagandha field. Now, he'll open our session by sharing his expertise and touching upon the merits of Shoden. And then we will hear from Dr. Binu Kervilla, Arjuna Natural's Chief Innovation Officer, who will elaborate on the efficacy and safety studies conducted on Shoden. And last but not least, I will be speaking with Kevin Coyne of Nutraceutics, as I look to gain a supplements brand's perspective on why Shoden ashwagandha is their choice of formulations. So we have a packed session for you today. But before we dive in, let me mention that there's a whole host of additional material about Shoden and ashwagandha available for you to download here. We'll also be accepting questions throughout the webinar. So if you would like to ask our speakers anything, then please do feel free to submit your questions on here, and we'll do our best to get through some of those. All 3 speakers are also on LinkedIn, so that's obviously another way you can connect with them. So anyway, let's get started. When it comes to the efficacy of ashwagandha, as with any other botanical extract, bioavailability is an important factor. And this is something I understand Arjuna Natural strongly focuses on when formulating Shoden, which has been crafted to bring the best of ashwagandha's health benefits to consumers. Now, to discuss Shoden's potency and efficacy alongside the proven health benefits plus NPD opportunities, our next guest will be Dr. Dilip Ghosh, a Sydney-based expert in food, nutrition, nutraceuticals, and natural medicine. Now, Dr. Ghosh holds a PhD in biomedical science and has over 20 years of experience in pharmaceutical and food nutrition industries, including roles in R&D, clinical trials, and product commercialization. Now, Dr. Ghosh has published 100 plus peer-reviewed papers, authored several books, and contributed extensively to global conferences and editorial boards. I'm therefore delighted now to bring Dr. Dilip Ghosh to our session. Hello, Dilip, and welcome to the webinar.
Thank you very much for your kind introduction.
Thanks, Dilip. Let's quickly move on to our first question.
Sure.
The question is, could you please provide some background on your work related to and focus upon ashwagandha over the years, outlining the health and wellness benefits you identify as most advantageous in this botanical?
As you mentioned, I am one of the veterans in this area. So I have very strong pharmaceutical background as well as nutraceutical natural medicine background. So I am one of the few person uh, uh, I can see this industry from both evidence-based and traditional knowledge-based also. So recently, I have been nominated as a consultant by WHO Traditional Medicine Group also that recognize my contribution in this area. Ashwagandha, recently, if you see the, especially after pandemic, it surge, the sales surge extremely well. Uh, if you see in 2021, it was nearly $850 million, but it is projected $1.5 billion in 2032. Only in USA, the sales increased 225% in just 1 year. So that uh, proves the potential of these herbs. And recently, I have been doing a lot of work, high level work, policy, regulatory type of things on ashwagandha, and that is for adaptogenic effect and beyond also. So I am very much in this area. I have published, if you see last 6 months, I have published five or six articles in this area, and one is very very significant, that is the Denmark ban, that is the rebuttal letter against the Denmark ban on ashwagandha.
Now let's move on to the market globally today. Now, as you know, there are currently countless ashwagandha extracts on the market. Um, when did you first come across Shoden ashwagandha, and what do you think sets this extract apart from other formulations?
It's a very complex area because it is not like a pharmaceutical. Pharmaceutical is a single molecule mostly, but in natural medicine there are 10, 20, 30 different molecules also. So it is very hard to standardize every molecule in your product, and that's why we call seed to patient. You have to standardize the cultivation process, extraction process, a manufacturing process up to the clinical standard, clinical level also. Many ashwagandha product in the market, both as an ingredient or a single product also, but not are same. I think, as you mentioned briefly initially, there are few things, especially for ashwagandha, we have to focus. One is definitely the bioavailability. It should be highly bioavailable because most of the phyto ingredients, their bioavailability rate is 0.2% to maximum 5%. So you have to increase the bioavailability level. Second one is the full spectrum, because you have to use a minimum content. So, like if I give you the example of this particular brand also, their dose is 60 milligram active component. So that means you don't need, that means if you have a high level of concentration of the active molecule, that is the 35% ethanosyte glycoside in this extract. So you have to use only a small portion, and you have to introduce a lot of high level technical, that is a biotechnological process also, to purify, to enrich of this product. And I see in Shoden, they introduced all these attributes in one single molecule. So, and that has been tested in a 10 uh, randomized clinical trial also, human trial. So that means there is no doubt of this efficacy, safety, and toxicity also.
Let me quickly move on to the science of Shoden. Now, numerous clinical studies demonstrate Shoden's potency and efficacy. Dilip, I wonder what science-backed evidence stands out for you within this context.
You know, every product we called it is like a pharmaceutical. You have to test your finished product, which is under the shelf or in the market, through the clinical trial. And if the clinical trial is that is the we called RCT, that is the randomized control trial, that is the gold standard in pharmaceutical industry also. Shoden went through the multiple randomized clinical trial also, not only in the sleep area, in multiple other health areas also. So that means it is not only proven in the mechanistic or in vitro or animal studies, it has been established its efficacy, safety, and toxicity in the series of clinical trials. Recently, it is not published yet, but I got the result of the Shoden. That is one of the few in this area. I think that will be a gold standard in safety toxicity. They have done a good uh, number of patient that is dedicated to the safety. That is safety toxicity trial on the human, and the results are very very encouraging. That uh, 90 days trial, it is a good long term study for the natural medicine. Generally natural medicine is 1 week 2 weeks, but it is a 3 months trial, and they found the Shoden at this dose per day that is completely safe.
Fantastic. Thanks, Dilip. I'm gonna turn the questions over to the audience now. We have a really interesting question here. Dilip, from a new product development perspective, in light of the expanding market for functional foods and beverages, could you please outline the various formats into which Shoden could effectively be incorporated?
I think because Shoden is water soluble, and that is the very very first criteria, but it is difficult to get the water soluble phytochemicals, and that's why I said you need a very high level of biotechnological uh, implication in this area. Because it is a water soluble, you can use in normal food, functional food, nutraceutical, and even what I am seeing in the future, that is the functional nutrition. That is a new category. That is the medical food category. Shoden has, or evidence-based ashwagandha product has huge implication as a beverage, as a tablet, as a capsule, as a sachet, powder. I think in all format, because it's a water soluble and highly bioavailable, and you need a very small dose, so it is applicable for any format.
And another question from the audience, and this was quite an interesting one. Dilip, there's some ongoing narrative about with ferrin A being toxic, and this could be potentially misleading. I just wondered, Dilip, what your thoughts were about this.
Yes, I think there are a few publication also, but this in today's world there are maybe millions of publication, and these are all open access. If you pay some money, so you can publish your article also. So these are not a peer reviewed article. So uh, if you yesterday night I checked the two big database, the PubMed and Scopus. I found there are more than 14,000 citation in ashwagandha, and they included all the recent RCT studies also. So ashwagandha, in a broad sense, has more than 200 primary and secondary bioactives. Not all are active molecule, but the main three molecule, that is the that is the widaferin A, withanolite, and withanol. But the uh, widaferin A, that is the basic parental skeleton, and that has studied in the pharmacokinetic studies also. And recent studies, that is the 2020 and 2022 studies, the clinical trial, widaferin A has showed very significant efficacy that is not known before also. That is in the depression and some sort of anti-diabetic effect also. So that is, it is very potent molecule. It is present in ashwagandha, both roots and leaves also. And it is not only for the adaptogenic effect, but they have much effect beyond the adaptogenic also.
We have time for perhaps one more question from the audience, and this is quite an interesting one, and it goes with the safety theme. Dilip, safety is a particularly hot topic regarding ashwagandha right now, amidst regulatory shifts in certain EU countries. However flawed the evidence upon which such decisions looking to restrict ashwagandha use might be, what assurances should brands nonetheless be seeking out when they select an extract? And what does Shoden offer in this regard?
Definitely, the 2020, the DTU, the Denmark Technology University, they published this damning report. Sorry for my word, but it is definitely a damning report. If you see the geopolitical environment, Ayurveda is the second soft power of India after IT. And it is growing phenomenon speed, 225% growth only in USA. It was 34 rank in 2021, top selling herbs. Now in 2023, it 7th position. So that means there are lot of vested interest also to malign ashwagandha. And that is one of the vested interest. If you go through my article, that rebuttal letter, so I explain clearly. So I cannot do today because it's a 10-minute slot also. But there are many studies, modern studies. They showed ashwagandha at particular level and standardized ashwagandha completely safe. Even water is toxic if you drink more than 4 liters every day. So that means in the world, nothing is non-toxic. But you have to stick with the dose, quality, standardization, and the delivery mechanism also. And Shoden complies all this area. And they showed in their recent human trial also, ashwagandha at this dose for 90 days, it is completely safe.
Well, time's caught up with us now. So, Dilip, it's certainly good to get your perspective on these developments and indeed have your take on the most compelling use cases for Shoden ashwagandha, all of course backed by clinical trials. So my thanks once again to you, Dilip. It's been really great to speak with you today.
Just one sentence. I submitted my 37 book chapter on ashwagandha to the CRC press last week. So it will come, I think, before VitaFood Europe. So it's one of the authentic book in this area. We covers everything. I think my request, who have interest in this area, please go through this book. You will learn more about ashwagandha. Thank you.
Now, since inception, there's been a strong emphasis on innovation and R&D at Arjuna that underpins the development of Shoden. Pioneering research facility focused on phytochemistry, pharmacokinetics, formulation, development, and preclinical studies. Now, one individual who can tell us about these activities in more detail is Dr. Binu Korovilla, a seasoned medical professional with over 19 years of dedicated experience at Arjuna Naturals. As Chief Innovation Officer, Dr. Binu has played a pivotal role in driving the company's research and development initiatives, focusing on delivering innovative and science-backed natural solutions. Indeed, his medical expertise, combined with a deep understanding of nutraceuticals, has been instrumental in positioning Arjuna Naturals as a global player in this industry. So welcome, Binu. It's great to have you here with us today.
Thank you so much, and really happy to be part of this webinar.
Now, Binu, throughout its near 4 decades in operation, there's been a strong emphasis on research and development at Arjuna Naturals. And I understand that for many years, you've played a pivotal role in driving those R&D initiatives. Shoden Ashwagandha is a clear triumph of that strong, long-standing approach. So, Binu, what were the key factors your team had in mind when formulating Shoden?
Our company, Arjuna Natural, has been in the field of natural product research for the last 35 years. And the major 3 pillars where we work is on product and process standardization, analytical method development, and clinical validation of safety and efficacy of our products. And Shoden we are developed is an extract of Ashwagandha, which is a plant widely used in the Ayurvedic and traditional system of medicine. And Ashwagandha contains hundreds of compounds. And our major focus of research was to identify the active core of Ashwagandha responsible for its beneficial effects. And that's how we developed Shoden Ashwagandha, which is standardized to contain 35% of active molecule, the vithanolide glycoside, and so far the highest standardized ashwagandha extract in the world market. Another key aspect in our research was to find out how we analyze these molecules. So we developed and published an HPLC method which could quantify large number of molecules more than any other available analytical method, and this method is used to analyze Shoden ashwagandha. And as you know, a major limitation with all plant-based health ingredients is the lack of scientifically validated testing for safety and efficacy. So as part of our research, Shoden Ashwagandha underwent a series of detailed toxicity studies ensuring its safety and clinically validating its efficacy in various health conditions. We know for sure that certain plants are beneficial for certain health conditions, but we don't know why it works or how it works. A major part of our research was to understand the mechanism of action of Shoden, how it is beneficial in certain health conditions, and also to understand what is the optimized dosage for getting those benefits. Likewise, all these understandings that we gained in 3 decades of our research, we tried to combine during the development of Shoden, making it one of the most unique ashwagandha extract in the world market.
Now, we see all kinds of ashwagandha extracts on the market today, claiming to contain 1.5% or 2.5% or certain other percentage standardized with analytes. Now, are all these extracts actually with analyte glycosides? And if not, what are they?
Ashwagandha actually contains a large number of compounds, out of which the most common is a group of compounds known as vithanolides. So vithanolides are composed of water-soluble vithanolide glycoside and water-insoluble vithanolide aglycons. Most of the ashwagandha extracts available in the market are standardized, as you mentioned, to 1.5, 2.5, or even 5% of total vithanolides, out of which majority are water-insoluble aglycons, making it very less bioavailable and requiring large doses. Moreover, most of these products which are available use unscientific analytical methods, leading to lot of variability in the product quality and efficacy. On the other hand, Shoden Ashwagandha is standardized to contain minimum of 35% of vithanolide glycosides, the most active and bioavailable form of vithanolides, and quantified using a validated HPLC method. So Shoden is unique and significantly superior to any other ashwagandha extract in the world market in terms of its purity, standardization, and quality.
Could I turn now to the science aspect of it? I wondered, Binu, what was your team's thinking behind conducting a bioavailability study?
So in Shoden, due to the presence of minimum 35% of this water-soluble vithanolide glycosides, Shoden is significantly better bioavailable than any other ashwagandha extract and 270 times more bioavailable than the generic ashwagandha extract. And the efficacy of Shoden at doses as low as 60 milligram once daily is mainly because of this high oral bioavailability.
Now, my next question is a little bit on how you test Shoden ashwagandha. I wondered if you were able to elaborate a little on how you test Shoden ashwagandha.
So when we started our research on ashwagandha, we found that the existing analytical methods available in the scientific space had so many limitations, including analyzing only a very limited number of vithanolides. So what we did was we had to develop and validate a method using HPLC to accurately measure the active molecules in ashwagandha or active molecules in Shoden. And our method uses 21 identified withanol-like glycosides for calculating the percentage of purity in Shoden. In contrast, other products use methods either cover only few withanolides, or they are either using unscientific, or the methods are not reliable. So this makes Shoden's analytical method unique, as it provides a more comprehensive and accurate analysis of the full spectrum of bioactive compounds in ashwagandha. And this is what Shoden is all about. Not just about the product, but also having a robust and scientifically validated analytical method.
Thanks, Binu. I'm going to turn now to a question from the audience, and this question is closely related, and it asks, how does Shoden compare with and perform against other ashwagandha brands on the market today?
Shoden really stands out from other products in the market due to multiple USPs. Most important, Shoden has a unique composition. It contains minimum 35% withanol-like glycosides, the highest standardized ashwagandha extract in the world market. Based on the bioavailability study, we can say that Shoden is 270 times more bioavailable than generic ashwagandha extract, making it the most bioavailable ashwagandha extract in the world market. And as we discussed earlier about the analysis, Shoden actually uses a validated and published HPLC analytical method, also cross-validated in a third-party lab, to ensure the purity of Shoden, whereas most of the other extracts uses analytical method with so many limitations, and most of them are unscientific also. And Shoden, because of the various clinical evaluations, has been proven for its efficacy in reducing stress, improving the quality of sleep, having immunomodulatory effect, improving vitality, increasing testosterone in men, and its safety has been proven in healthy adult subjects at a dose up to 8 times more than the recommended dose. And Shoden is probably the only extract clinically validated to be effective at a lowest daily dosage of 60 milligrams per day. And all of these make Shoden the most preferred choice for both formulators and consumers worldwide.
We just have time for one more question, and this is also from the audience. Just to extend what you were talking about, Binu, he asks, what is the recommended dosage of Shoden ashwagandha, and what advantages does that bring for the formulator and the consumer?
Okay, so the general recommended dosage of Shoden is 60 to 120 milligram per day, which is significantly lower than many other ashwagandha extracts in the world market. And the lowest daily dosage of 60 milligram is mainly due to the higher levels of standardization, potency, and higher bioavailability, and it offers several advantages. As you mentioned, for the formulators, because of the low dosage of 60 milligram, it allows addition of other ingredients into the delivery formats like capsules or tablets very easily. And for customers, it offers a once daily dosage, which is very convenient, and Shoden is a safe, effective, and a clinically proven ingredient for various health benefits which ashwagandha offer to the science at large.
Now, Binu, the next question concerns studies relating to Shoden. I wondered if you could provide a comprehensive list of all the studies available to date on the efficacy of Shoden.
Yeah, so Shoden has been extensively studied for its efficacy and safety with 11 published studies and several studies currently ongoing. And if you see the Shoden for its clinical benefits, one of the major benefits of Shoden is in improving the quality of sleep, which has been proven by human and preclinical trials. And another major aspect is on stress and anxiety. Shoden has been shown to reduce stress and anxiety by 3 published human clinical trials, and it actually works by reducing the stress hormone cortisol. And Shoden or ashwagandha in general is known for providing vitality and strength. And Shoden has been proven to improve vitality, improve strength, reduce fatigue, and in men helps in improving testosterone levels, which is proven by 3 human clinical trials. And ashwagandha is known as an adaptogen in Ayurveda, And the immunomodulatory effect of Shoden also has been proven by human clinical trial. As we mentioned earlier, oral bioavailability is one feature which makes Shoden really superior to other ashwagandha extracts in the world market. Shoden is several times more bioavailable than other ashwagandha extracts in the market, and this has been proven by human clinical trial. And this high oral bioavailability helps Shoden to be effective at doses as low as 60 milligram once daily. As part of our research, we always do detailed safety evaluation of our products. And the safety of Shoden has been proven in animal models and also proven in healthy adult humans. And several other studies evaluating the effect of Shoden in various other indications and health conditions is currently ongoing worldwide.
Thanks so much, Binu. And I know now that time is caught up with us. So, Binu, thanks so much for helping us to decode the bioactives, the high bioavailability, and the unique advantages that make Shoden such a compelling proposition for manufacturers and consumers. It's been a real pleasure talking to you. So thanks very much, Binu.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Our consumers are increasingly opting for natural ingredients to support their health and wellness journeys. But within that shift, there's also strengthening demand for solutions backed by science. And with that in mind, in this section, we will explore the advantages of Shoden ashwagandha's high bioavailability and low dosage, both for formulators and for consumers, alongside with science-backed evidence and clinical trials supporting the use of this ashwagandha extract. Now, what really stands out with Shoden with developers of nutraceuticals today in terms of addressing the need stage of consumers and ensuring quality and efficacy. Now, discussing this and more is our next speaker, Mr. Kevin Coyne. Kevin is Chief Executive Officer at South Africa-based natural supplements business, Nutraceutics. With many years of experience in the healthcare and nutraceutical segments, Kevin says, success for me is knowing that what we create is helping someone live a better, healthier life, which as a philosophy is something I'm sure we can all get behind. So welcome to the session today, Kevin. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Will. It's a real pleasure and privilege to be here with you today. Thank you for having me.
Kevin, could you please tell us first a little bit about nutraceuticals, its origins, values, and mission?
Yes, absolutely. So Nutraceutics was formed more recently, so it's a new venture, but coming from a lot of experience within the space. And it's really become the culmination of years of experience between my talented colleagues and myself to create something which we felt was necessary in the world today. So Nutraceutics, the word really encompasses nature and therapeutics. So we wanted to create nature-based therapeutics to help practitioners and communities around the world to help them support the health of their patients. We see that there's a growing demand for this type of medicine and healthcare in the world today.
Fantastic. Now, regarding Shoden ashwagandha, Kevin, I wondered how you first came across it and how does this branded extract and its manufacturer, Arjuna Natural, align with your company's purpose?
Well, I have a long relationship with Arjuna. I've been working with the company and relying on the materials for, I counted, close to 12 years now. I was first introduced to BCM95, their curcumin product, and have had excellent results with working with the company with respect to that product. So, I mean, sure, as many people know, it's one of the most researched curcumin extracts in the world. And what we see is that not only works in with respect to the research, but in the real world experience of the people that use it. And so when Arjuna created Shoden, we're sort of first in line to have a look at it. We're obviously very excited about it. But saying that, the responsibility of our company is to make sure that we produce the best products in each particular category that we've entered into. And so despite our love for Arjuna and their curcumin and the other products, we had a critical assessment of Shoden and compared it to all the other ashwagandhas that were available to us. Looked at the research, looked at how they had produced it, looked at their reputation from the other products that they had produced, and of course then tested the product in real world circumstances in clinics and with practitioners to come to the answer that Shoden ashwagandha was a product that we wanted to work with.
I wondered, Kevin, if you could go into a little bit more detail about the main features. What made Shoden such a compelling proposition for incorporation into nutraceutics, ashwagandha bioactive supplement?
And I think this is something that we see in the world and in other companies. Companies position themselves as a natural healthcare company, but actually what we are is we're efficacy first. So the first principle that we expect from a product is to deliver efficacy, because that's actually what the consumer of the product, what the practitioner, what the patient expects. Once they've invested the time and energy and money into a product, a health product, regardless of its origin, they expect it to work. And so, this is really important as a first step. I know it seems obvious, but often people can get caught up in the fact that something's natural, or get caught up in the science, and get caught up in all these other things that are important, but it has to result in efficacy for the patient. And honestly, we haven't seen another ashwagandha or other products translate efficacy as effectively as Shoden has. And so that's really what's made it stand apart. Yes, of course, it's got research. Yes, it's got all of these things that are important. But when people use Shoden ashwagandha, we see that it delivers results and exceptional results in most users. And so I refer to it, and internally we refer to it as a 9 out of 10 product. And why do we say 9 out of 10? Is that 9 out of 10 times people who use ashwagandha, we have the expectation that it's going to help them in the indications that they're looking for, will receive excellent results. And that's a tremendous outcome for a product. And so this is really what's made us select and work with the product and get behind it. And it's often a product that we lead with, meaning that when we're introducing nutraceutics to people for the first time, we will lead with Shoden ashwagandha, because we know the efficacy is such that people will use it and have a positive experience, and that helps them appreciate what we're doing at nutraceutics. That's not always true for other products. For example, if you had a magnesium supplement, or if you had an omega product, people don't necessarily take it and feel the experience right away. With Shoden ashwagandha, people feel it from the very first dose that they take it.
Well, Kevin, you briefly alluded to it. I wondered if I could go into a little bit more detail about Shoden's high bioavailability and low dosage. I wondered what the key advantages of those were, both for nutraceutics as a brand and for the end consumer.
I think it's really the way that the bioavailability translates into efficacy. And so, this is sort of what I suggested earlier was, what we see is that people use Shoden and have a result that is almost unexpected for them. So often we'll get people give us feedback as, look, I took the ashwagandha. Is it possible that it could work that quickly or that effectively? Because they seem surprised by it, because they've used other ashwagandhas for long periods of times in the hopes that they'll get benefits from it. And sometimes they do, but not the potency that they get from or the efficacy that they get from Shoden ashwagandha. And I think that speaks to the bioavailability. It's much more than just another ashwagandha extract. It's the potency and the bioavailability, which translates into efficacy. With respect to the low dose, I think the dosage timing is convenient for patients. So, you can see the half-life and the active life of Shoden. We see that you get a sort of a peak concentration within 2 hours, and you can see very much an extended active life, 12 to 16 hours. And so that makes it convenient for people to use as well. They can look at taking it once per day or necessary twice per day, but we say 80% of the time a person's taking a single dose once per day. I think the low dose, we sell the ashwagandha, the Shoden ashwagandha, as an isolated extract, but the low dose is convenient if you wanted to blend it into other products also, because it gives you capacity within the capsule to have more full space. So we've considered ideas of turning it into a Shoden plus multivitamin type product, or Shoden with Shoden with say magnesium, and so that's one of the benefits of the low dosage range too.
And I'm going to turn to a question from the audience, and this one focuses on the science of Shoden. He asks, there are obviously many clinical studies demonstrating Shoden's potency and its efficacy across numerous key application areas. And my question to you, Kevin, is what science-backed evidence really stands out for you within this context?
Yeah, as you said, looking at the question, there is a number of studies, and so often we look at the collection, or if we added all these studies together, what do we then see? And so we see, we have the ability to improve immune function, we have the ability to increase testosterone levels in men, cognitive function, sleep quality, And then we also obviously see this reduction in anxiety and improvement in mood. So when you add all of those things together, I don't think there's many people that say, oh, I wouldn't want that. But really, I think the more recent study that was published, which was the 60 participant study, where we saw a dramatic reduction in morning cortisol levels and increase in testosterone, but also the different scores with respect to reduction in anxiety and mood, improved mood. That's one of the studies that's really stood out for people, because we can put a number on the reduction in the cortisol. And there's a lot of discussion around managing cortisol today. People never quite understood, well, what is cortisol? We actually, it's become quite topical now. People have a good sense of what cortisol is. And so that study, when we combined with all the other research, really helps put Shoden ashwagandha to the front and center in the needs of people today. I think stress, anxiety, sleep, these are key areas of interest for the vast majority of people of today living in the modern world.
A closely related question here, Kevin, also from the audience. From a health and wellness perspective, in which specific need states, categories, or demographics do you see Shoden ashwagandha having the most impact, and why?
I think really we focus on anxiety, stress, and sleep. Those are just, if we put 100 people in the room and we ask people to put up their hands, the majority of people would relate to any one of those symptoms. And we just see, Shoden ashwagandha delivering such amazing efficacy in those spaces. So that's how we position it, and that's our position.
Our last question here is that quality control and safety are clearly more crucial than ever today for today's consumers. Kevin, what assurances does your company get from partnering from a well-respected supplier like Arjuna Natural?
I think it's the peace of mind. As a brand owner, as a company, we can only go so far. We have to rely on reputable partners, and so it's always just given us peace of mind working with Arjuna, knowing that we're getting the highest quality ingredients, all the testing, all the procedures, everything that's required to produce the product of high quality is backed up by Arjuna. And so in all my years working with Arjuna, we've never had an issue, which speaks testimony to the quality of the product that they're producing.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Well, time has finally caught up with us. Thank you very much for your insights, Kevin, on why your business, Nutraceuticals, puts its trust in Arjuna Natural and, of course, its product, Shoden ashwagandha, to deliver quality and efficacy for your consumers. It's been great speaking with you today, so thank you very much, Kevin.
Great. Thank you very much for having me, and it's been a pleasure sharing. And of course, thank you to Arjuna for creating these materials. I mean, we're seeing them translate into amazing results for people around the world. And so that's a huge privilege for us to carry. And so thank you to everyone.
Well, we're coming to the end of the session now, but I'd like to say a big thank you to all three of our speakers today for their insights on how, with the ongoing shift towards natural solutions and a preventative approach to health and well-being, how Arjuna meets the needs of the modern consumer and formulator alike, with Shoden ashwagandha delivering science-based efficacy and world-leading bioavailability. Now, just a reminder that we have various resources available on this console for you to download, should you wish to learn more about ashwagandha and Shoden specifically. So thanks again to our expert speakers for their time and wisdom. And thank you, the audience, for joining us today for this session. I hope you found it informative, and please enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
With the promise of nature's purest essence, we are proud to offer a product that not only meets but exceeds our customers' expectations worldwide. Join the wellness revolution and experience the Shoden difference. Your journey to better health starts here. The world's most potent and bioavailable ashwagandha extract by Arjuna Natural.